It seemed to be over now. Ahead of them was the wild sea, and behind them was the notorious Pharaoh. Thousands of his descendants waited in silence for a miracle, while the army grew closer with each passing second. But how did it come to this? How did a baby, once set adrift on the Nile River, grow up to challenge Egypt's most powerful ruler? It all began with a dream that shook a tyrant, a vision that changed history, a prophecy so frightening it drove a king to desperate measures, a mother's brave choice to save her child, and a twist of fate that placed a child of slaves right inside the palace of the one who oppressed them. In the year 3150 BC, a man who saw himself as a god ruled, or rather oppressed, the people of Bani Israel. His name was Musa bin Walid, known to us today as Pharaoh. The Bani Israel lived in constant fear and suffering under his rule. Years passed, and Pharaoh's grip grew tighter. But then, something happened that shook him to his core. He had a dream that haunted him. In his vision, a fire emerged from Jerusalem, sweeping across Egypt, burning homes, yet sparing the children of Israel. Pharaoh woke up terrified. What could it mean? Fearing this might be a sign of his own downfall, he summoned his magicians and priests. They confirmed his fears. A child from Israel would rise and destroy his rule. Pharaoh was not one to wait for destiny to catch up to him. He made a chilling decision. Every newborn boy from Bani Israel would be killed. One of Pharaoh's advisors pointed out a problem. If we keep killing all the boys, who will work for us in the future? There will be no men left in Bani Israel to enslave. So they devised a clever policy. Every other year they would spare the boys. One year they would be killed, and the next they would be allowed to live. Al-Mulil Wannal. But can a fate truly be avoided? Could Pharaoh's plan stop the rise of this child? Only time will tell. In the year when the children were spared, a mother from Bani Israel joyfully welcomed her baby boy, Hazrat Harun, peace be upon him. But the following year was born. Before anyone could know of his birth, she placed him in a small basket and set it adrift on the Nile, entrusting his fate to Allah. As the basket floated, it drifted straight to Pharaoh's palace. There the kind-hearted wife of Pharaoh discovered the baby. Having longed for a child of her own, she immediately felt a deep love for him. When she urged Pharaoh to keep the child, he surprisingly agreed, unaware that this very boy would one day challenge his rule. As time passed, Hazrat Musa grew up under Pharaoh's own roof, nurtured and protected, though he was destined to challenge the very man who had raised him. Allah had plans for Musa and blessed him with strength, wisdom, and deep knowledge of faith. One day, Musa witnessed a man being beaten by the Egyptians and rushed in to help. Musa accidentally killed one of the Egyptians. The following day, Musa encountered the same Israelite in another fight. He remarked, "You seem to be getting into trouble every day." But the man exclaimed, "Will you kill me as you did the Egyptian?" His words were overheard, and soon the news reached Pharaoh's officials, who filed a case against Musa for murder. Just then, a man rushed to Musa with urgent news. "They've ordered your death. You must leave Egypt immediately." Without any preparation, Musa fled, relying solely on Allah for strength and protection. For 8 long nights he traveled, hiding by day and moving under the cover of darkness. Ibn Kasir. Eventually, exhausted and hungry, he found shade under a tree. There he noticed two women struggling to water their goats, hindered by a massive stone blocking the well. With the strength bestowed upon him by Allah, Musa single-handedly moved the stone and helped the women. Grateful for his assistance, the women returned home and told their elderly father what had happened. He invited Musa to stay with them, and after hearing his story, offered him a place in his home. In time, he proposed that Musa work for him for 8 years in exchange for marrying one of his daughters. It was a fair deal for a man with nowhere else to go. For 10 years, Hazrat Musa worked diligently in this new land, herding sheep and living a life of quiet reflection. These years were transformative, each day spent observing the wonders of Allah's creation. He watched the sun rise and set, saw the stars illuminate the night, and marveled at the world around him. During these years, Allah was nurturing his mind and spirit, preparing him for the great task that lay ahead. Then, one day, he decided it was time to return to Egypt. He missed his family and felt the years had passed long enough since the incident with the Egyptian. With his family, he set off, unaware that this journey would forever change his life. As they traveled, Musa and his family approached a mountain called Qu'ran, where he spotted a fire burning in the distance. Seeking warmth, he drew closer and heard a powerful voice. "O Musa, I am Allah, the Lord of the universe." Allah then revealed his plan, instructing Musa to confront Pharaoh and his chiefs who had become oppressive. Strengthened and assured, Musa and his brother Harun set off for Egypt to deliver Allah's message. Ibn Kasir. When Musa reached Pharaoh and conveyed to him the message of Allah, ordered Musa and his brother Harun to be taken into custody. To assert his dominance, he summoned the finest magicians in Egypt for a grand spectacle, believing they could outshine Musa with their tricks. As the day of confrontation dawned, a crowd gathered, buzzing with anticipation. Musa addressed the magicians with a warning. "Pity on you if you lie about Allah, claiming this magic is truth. Those who deceive him shall always fail." His words ignited doubt in their hearts, but they were tempted by Pharaoh's promises of reward. The magicians put on their grand display for Pharaoh, impressively transforming sticks and ropes into writhing snakes. Pharaoh's heart swelled with pride, but then Musa stepped forward, casting down his staff. To everyone's shock, it turned into a massive, powerful serpent, swallowing up all the magician's illusions one by one. The crowd stared in awe, witnessing a power beyond anything they'd ever seen. Realizing the truth, the magicians were overwhelmed. They fell to the ground prostrating and declared their faith. "We believe in the Lord of Musa and Harun." Pharaoh, however, was furious. He felt betrayed and accused Musa and the magicians of plotting against him. He threatened them with severe punishment, determined to crush any challenge to his rule. But Allah had a different plan for Musa and his people. He commanded Musa to take the people of Bani Israel and leave. The journey wasn't easy, and soon they found themselves cornered, trapped between the vast sea in front of them and Pharaoh's army approaching fast from behind. The Bani Israel were terrified, and they turned to Musa, shouting in desperation, "O Musa, you have led us to our doom." Musa, peace be upon him, remained calm and had all his trust in Allah. He replied, "My Lord is with us. He will guide us." Allah instructed Musa to strike the sea with his staff in that tense moment. And as he did, an incredible miracle happened. The waters parted, creating two towering walls, with a dry path stretching through the middle. Bani Israel hurried across, amazed by this miraculous way Allah had made for them. Ibn-e-Kasir, Ibn-e-Asakar, Ibn-e-Kuldun. Pharaoh and his army reached the shore just in time to see the path through the sea. Determined not to let Bani Israel escape, they charged forward. But as soon as Musa and his people were safely across, the waters returned, crashing down on Pharaoh and his army, swallowing them up. In his final moments, Pharaoh realized the truth. But it was too late. Allah saved only his body as a sign for future generations, a powerful reminder of what happens to those who reject faith and resist Allah's message. To this day, the story of Musa and the parting of the sea stands as a reminder of faith, trust in Allah, and the consequences of arrogance. It teaches us that even when the odds seem impossible, trust in Allah can open a path where none seems to exist. What does this story mean to you? What lessons of trust and faith does it bring to your heart? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring stories of the prophets.